The Wellness Show, episode number 342.
Welcome to The Wellness Show, a podcast on health and wealth. I'm your host, Tyhson, the founder of the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy. Join me as we get the latest insight, tips, and strategies from wellness providers, coaches, and successful heart-centered entrepreneurs, and much, much more. We are live on Facebook. Thanks for showing up for The Wellness Show with health, wealth, and enlightenment. Today we are in a sunny position to talk in Shuswap.
Oh, there we go.
Beautiful sunny day. And welcome, Laura, to the show, my wonderful co-host.
Morning.
Yeah, life is good here. Life is good. And we're figuring out this new technology. So welcome to the Wellness Show on Health, Wealth, and Enlightenment. And we're here to answer all your questions on dowsing, energy healing, help you get out of your own way and deliver your awesome gifts to the world. If you're an empath, if you're highly sensitive, if you feel overwhelmed by what's happening on planet Earth, you're not alone. You're not alone. Every group that I touch, people are crying and in pain and feeling what's going on with the Divine Mother through the Mother Earth, and have a really hard time in knowing whether it's theirs or somebody else's. And I don't know how many times I've been told, oh, I figured out that I'm feeling all of what's going on the earth. And now that I know that it's not all mine, I can let go of it. I can be more settled. So if this is resonating with you, then most likely you're an empath. And if you're overwhelmed, it means that you need to get, or we don't need to, but we suggest that you get hold of Laura, myself, or one of our coaching staff to really help you sort out what is yours and what isn't yours. And we want you to be empathic about what's happening with the earth, but we don't want you overwhelmed, because if you're overwhelmed, you're part of the problem. So if you can stand in your truth as a sovereign human being and be able to have compassion for what's happening to humanity and Mother Earth, then you're part of the vanguard that can help bring in the new level of consciousness. So it's exciting for me. I just had an email. Hopefully he'll phone in about the new technologies that's already been downloaded and available on planet Earth to clean it up. If we make this transformation and change, if we're allowed to do that. One of the good things I heard on the news is that President Trump said that he was negating, he was no longer going to fund the World Health Organization. And that no longer was he going to go by the model of that nobody will be released until everybody has a vaccination, which is the Bill Gates agenda. So the Surgeon General of the United States rejected that proposal, which is a huge breakthrough. Interesting enough, on CBC, our Canadian news, that was not reported. It just was reported the funding to the WHO, the World Health Organization, was cut by President Trump, but never talked about the whole vaccination backstory. Never mentioned on CBC because it's national news. And as you know, all the news stations have a certain agenda by those that own it to release only the information that they think is appropriate. Another news story came in this morning, which is interesting, came from Washington, Seattle area, where they had a whole military hospital set up in an arena with 150 beds to treat the overflow from all the hospitals in the Washington state. And that was just dismantled and moved out, and they never saw one patient. Not saying that, that it wasn't appreciated, it was, but if you can think of all the resources that was had to be put in that, and how many reservists had to be ordered up, and how many, and all that shipping of a field hospital, operating a theater, everything set up and then be dismantled. So it's a bit crazy out there, as the statistical models that are being used to track where we are just are not working. So, which is always, I find really interesting, is, come on. I've actually done some modeling around environmental issues. I did it at the Banff School of Management. And I can actually tell you that never any model ever is anywhere close to the actuality. It's a human mind prediction based on inaccurate information that gives you a prediction of what may be happening. But, crap in is crap out. And I'm sorry, if you're coming from your human mind consciousness and you're not attuned to the natural evolution of consciousness, and I mean the virus, and I mean all of it, then you're going to just get that from the intellect and miss the whole spiritual dimension that is necessary to make a holistic decision. So basically the fundamental equation that's not being used is intellect plus intuition equals wisdom. Intellect on its own is just using half your brain. Intuition is the other half of your brain. Put the two together, you have a whole brain decision. But I think in many, many cases, what's really happening is a no-brain decision, right? We think we know that we know that we know, and then we're very stuck on our own opinions about what's right, what's wrong, or good or bad, when actually we have no clue whatsoever. And the only way that we'll ever know if we get on our own way, shut up and listen to source consciousness or God. And that's very difficult for humans. We are so egotistical. We really do think we know the answer to everything. And believe me, I can get caught up in that too. I mean, when I rant, how close am I to spirit when I rant? How much of my ego is in that? How much am I stomping my foot? How much am I strutting myself like a big rooster, right? Walk a doodle doo. So, I mean, it's easy to slip into that.
It is.
So, I'm not the perfect example of being able to be free of human mind consciousness, but I do know how to shut up long enough to get guidance, right? I do know how to be still to be aligned with source. And that's really where the information needs to come in a time like this. So,
and that can come through with prayer or meditation, many different ways to get to source.
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, it's stilling the mind.
Yeah, going out in nature.
Yeah.
But just being quiet for a while, turning the TV off.
Yeah, just being still.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're, poor Laura, if I'm babbling along, she can't get a word edgewise, So if you're babbling along in your brain, like a monkey mind, if spirit doesn't have can't edge in there and say anything that you're going to hear because you're busy babbling.
Right. Yeah.
Well, Laura and I are a good example of that. When I'm ranting on, Laura's saying, she got her finger up, waving at me. Hey, over here.
Can I have a chance?
Can I have a moment, please?
The thing that I like about you is that you say exactly what I want to say anyway. So I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if we use that as an analogy between a human mind that wants to go on and spirit, we do need to stop the monkey mind long enough so spirit can come through.
Well, let's tell people how we do that.
Okay, Laura, how do you do that? I'll have a drink of coffee while you tell everybody how to do that.
Okay, so I meditate every day. I take at least 5 to 10 minutes in the morning, and then longer in the evening, to center myself and connect with what I believe is God and my higher self, and quiet my mind. And I'll listen to classical music. And if something is bothering me or upsetting me, I try and be quiet and walk away and figure out what it is that I'm doing to attract this kind of influence. And I also watch for signs, and because source, God, universe is always sending us signs. And I believe that the more that you pay attention to those signs, the more that the signs will come, and they'll come quicker and faster. So that's what I do. What do you do, Ty?
Yeah, well, thank you for that. Yeah, what I do. Well, when I get up in the morning, when I wake up in the morning, I start to run Divine Mother energies. I've been working with Divine Mother in a group for, 4 years now. I'm very, very fortunate. It comes from Maharishi Yogananda. His whole background, although I never met him and I was never part of that, I never learned how to meditate that way. The higher echelons of that group have the ability, and one of them in particular, David Adelson, thank you, David, has been able to always commune with Divine Mother since he was a child. So I've been fortunate enough to learn how to do that, how to commune with Divine Mother by allowing her to run energies. In other words, being the conduit the requesting of Divine Mother to run these energies. And I think we're at the 164, last time I counted, 164 Divine Mother energies for every situation you can imagine, and new ones coming through. One of the newest ones coming through is, the coronavirus immune divine mother energy. So I start raining those first thing in the morning, and the blue rain of, what did I say? The blue
Unconditional love.
of unconditional love. Wow, I can't even say unconditional love this morning. Is one of my favorites. So I'm running that, and then I get onto an EMF map, which grounds me. I have that in.
What does that do?
It makes you in harmony with electromagnetic energies of the earth.
And it's a mat that you stand on?
It's a mat, yeah. And my friend sells them, and luckily I've been able to trade one of my jigglers, which is a vibrating machine. I have two of them, so I loaned him one, and he's loaned me his mat. So I'm on the mat everything in the morning, and so I'm doing regeneration of my body. Okay. And then every today at 5 o'clock, and every Sunday, I'm with that group running Divine Mother Energies, and the average length of time that we meditate and run the energy together is about an hour and a half. And if it's Sean doing it on Wednesday night, which is today, it's usually 2 hours.
Nice.
And it's very, very dramatic in that so much energy comes through. It's amazing. So that's what I do. I've set up my little gym at home, and my Dr. Fitness USA, Stephen Percy, is banging on me to why haven't I got him videos, and why am I showing him what I'm doing? But we've set it all up, and I have been back in my little gym that I set up to do structural readjustment with weights, because I need to be physically grounded. I'm a 6'4" dude, and I got to keep myself grounded, muscular. Okay, the other thing I've done is I've hired a coach that works only on helping me connect to my divinity, to my higher self. And the last session we had was yesterday, and we released some trauma from falling off a cliff that I didn't even know I had, that I was still disassociated, and part of me was still on that cliff. So I had no idea that was happening. So she worked on that, and now we're going to do the lineage next time. So what I'm getting at is I too am doing the deep trauma work that I didn't even know was there. And that's really important. You need a coach to do that. I have a coach, Laura has a coach, we all have coaches. And, if you want to bring about change in your life, you really do need a coach, whether it's going to be a physical coach like I have, or it's going to be a spiritual coach like I have, right? And I also have had a business coach, right? And I am a business coach too, as well as a healer. Whatever. I really want to help people take their gifts, their unique abilities, and bring them into the world as a business. So,
right. And what people need to understand.
I also walk. I'll just finish this off. So I walked 4.4 kilometers with Louis the dog, and not every single day. And maybe 4 times I've done it in the last 2 weeks. So I need to do more of that. But I'm pretty pooped out to my 4.4 kilometer, but I used to do that every second day. So I'm mixing the walking, 4.4 kilometers, and the gym. So I think that pretty well. Oh, and then there's the Tao. So the Tao, and now
you eat well. And you eat well.
And it's all vegan. I'm pretty well vegan. There's a little cheese, and I have to say I have eggs every once in a while.
So you're a vegetarian.
But very seldom. I'm pretty well off of dairy completely.
Good.
Except if somebody gives me a coffee downstairs and there's cream, I can't help. I have to apologize to the cow, but I'm not going to go upstairs and get my non-cream anyway. So I too digress, and I'm not pure, but I do have a very healthy diet, and it is all organic. And I do grow my own garden. Well, I don't grow it. My sweetie grows it, and I try and. My commitment this year is to get out and be in the garden.
And how big is your garden?
It's I'll have to show you pictures of it. It's if you go over to the Shuswap, if you go over to my Google, the Sunnybray Retreat Center or Sunnybray Cottage on Facebook, you'll see lots of pictures of the front yard.
Yeah,
so
your cottage.
Overlooking the deck, there's a Mayan medicine wheel. Right there, and then there's an angel wings is the garden in raised beds as it goes down overlooking the lake, right? So I guess there's, I don't know, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beds with a circle in the center of it. It's not gigantic. And then there's 2 apple trees, there's 2 cherries, 2 sour cherries, 2 plums, 2 pears, 2 nut trees, raspberries, and goji berries, and Oregon grape berries, and blackberries. And anyway, yeah, it's a little less than an acre, grow your own food in your backyard, because that's my passion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. So being close to nature and having deer come through the yard and being able to walk in trails pretty well out the back door is really, and living on the side of a lake. And we're going to go get the kayak, put the kayak back together and get it into the water.
What do you
Anyway,
have
that's what I do.
Well, wait a minute. What do you have to say about deer symbolism when deer come into your yard?
Oh, I love the deer because they're so beautiful. And we're watching a deer because the dog gets really excited, and the deer is really smart and lets the dog go way, way down, and then it comes back up, and the dog's way down there, and the deer comes up. And just watching that deer prance across the road was just, and Michael said to me, that's what they try and train horses, is to do that little dance, right?
Oh, seriously? Yeah.
That little deer dance. And it's just, they're just so, I don't know, the deer to me just opens my heart. They're really, to me, the divine feminine. They're, the big eyes, and they're, they look at you, and if you have a little soft voice, if you have a soft voice around, I can get within about 10 feet or 12 feet of the deer around here, right? They just like, oh, human. I don't know, should I be scared? They're really, really beautiful, right?
They are, yeah. I had one come up to me when I was in my early 20s on a path, and we stood as far away from the computer as I am right now, and he kept, and then we just sat, and he went, and then he just slowly turned around and walked away. And apparently they can like charge you, and I didn't realize that. I just thought
only if they're afraid.
Really
only if they're
cool.
afraid.
I just thought it was cool.
Yeah, there's one I saw on Facebook. There's one deer that actually meets everybody at their mailbox, and then says hello to them and goes and meets them all the way along through the.
Got an apple for me or a carrot? Yeah.
Yeah.
Got an apple for me or a carrot?
Yeah.
Sometimes those humans are nice.
Yeah. So I'm very lucky. I mean, the osprey will be flying in pretty soon. The swallows just came back and are checking out our 2 nesting boxes. We always have raised swallows every year. I really want to get, I have a bee master certificate. I really want to get bees again. I'm a permaculture instructor. I know quite a bit about organic gardening and quite a bit about Rudolf Steiner's whole work about gardening. So anyway, yeah, beautiful. I digress. But anyway, yeah, gardening is really important in being connected to the earth,
In some places in America right now, they're blocking you from getting seeds and from gardening.
Okay, well, the shipping is not working quite yet, but look, if you go to here and you go to the wellness store, you can order the seeds. They'll be shipped anywhere. They're all open pollinated seeds, and they'll all be shipped anywhere on the planet, right?
Yeah.
They may be slightly different for your area because they're grown in my area, but if you save the seeds in a number of years, they'll adapt and be specifically applicable to your area. That's just the beauty of it, right? So you need to save your own seeds. If you get them through her, then you need to be able to save your own seeds.
And she teaches you how to do that, how to save them?
Yeah, we are just finished doing a whole video recording of her going through our property here and giving us suggestions about how to manage it. It's a little short video, but it'll give you a sense of who she is. She's quite the amazing lady, Sarah Bradshaw. And we do need to get our new computer with Zoom on so we can interview her. And also, I would like her to be able to help people at a distance. So, and hire her. Like if you had a phone and Zoom, there's no reason you couldn't take her on a walkabout on your property and explain to her what's going on. And she would be able to say, well, I think you could, blah, 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 right? So that's what I see. I've always wanted to do this with her. So this is the time when it's really important for everybody to learn how to grow a garden.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. One of the prophecies was know where your water is coming from, know where your food is coming from.
Yeah, you're talking about bioregionalism. Those are the questions in becoming a bioregionalist. And a bioregion is if you look at the mountains, all the streams run down from the mountains on the edge of the mountain, or a bowl, like in the prairies, it could be like, really, you don't have mountains there, but you have hills. But the point is, wherever that water runs together, it makes one biosphere or bioregion. And all the plant kingdom and the animal kingdoms are distinct in that area. You go over the edge, and it's a whole different bioregion. So the question in the bioregion are exactly what you said. Is first of all, where does your water come from, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where's south, because you want to be south facing, because you want the sun on your garden. And then where are there trees in the back and the north, because you want to protect yourself from the shelter from the northern winds, right?
Yeah.
Ideally, you want to have a forest behind you. And then ideally you have a lake or a pond or something in front of you, which is a heat sink that traps the heat. So you have less frost-free days. So you have more frost-free days, right? And also ideally if you have a slope, so that when the cold air comes, it flows down over your garden and away. So if you were in a little ditch, or in a hollow with your garden, all the cold air would settle into your garden and freeze your tomatoes ahead of time, right? So for whatever divine providence, divine mother, whether all those things are already in place here. There's mountains in the north, there's a lake in the front, there's a southern slope. Yeah, and there's good well water. So all those things are available. So I'm very, very fortunate.
And you have Sunnybrook too, right? What do you call your cabin that's for rent?
Where I live, or the closest town, well, it isn't even a town, but the closest place is called Sunnybray.
Sunnybray.
Sunnybray. So it's Sunnybray Retreat Center, or Sunnybray Cottage.
Okay.
Is what we rent out, a little cottage.
Mm-hmm.
That.
And then they could come work with you?
Yeah, they can come work with me. Right now, the person that's staying in the cottage is coming off of an addiction cycle, and has really got herself cleaned up, and is now learning how to be an addiction counselor, for example. People come here, write a book, come here, and they can, like with COVID-19, she just wants to be in complete isolation. In other situations, they come for dinner sometimes, or they, it can be, they're self-contained, but they also can interact with us. So sometimes we do sessions with them or put them in the Dodecahedron. Mm-hmm. So it depends on what their own needs are. We create a wellness plan that suits what their needs are.
And the Dodecahedron,
sometimes they just want to be left alone.
Tell us what the Dodecahedron is.
Oh, the Dodecahedron's downstairs. It's really called my Ascension Chamber. I know that Darlene and Michael just had a session in there, and they said, Tyhson, you need to do one yourself. So basically, it's dodecahedron structure is one of the 5 platonic solids, and the beauty of a dodecahedron is that it has perfect pitch, perfect sound. So when you lie in it and you have music playing like hemisync, where it's balancing your brain, hemisync music, and you do something like thunder or whatever it's called, Thunderbird, which takes you through the chakras, you can feel it moving, the music moving through, clearing your chakras, because it intensifies the music, right? Mm-hmm. And when the sound is when the pitch of the sound is perfect, your body relaxes. I think we talked about pitch and we talked about sound in one of the other shows where mm-hmm. the hertz are out of sync, like for whatever reason, all of our symphonies are tuned incorrectly. Mm-hmm. So in other words, if you were listening to the music of the spheres and were able to down code that energetics of what the universal harmonics are, our symphony is not in harmony with that. We're out of sync. When you hit that frequency where it's spot on, so it's nested, so it's encoded or enveloped, or they call it, you implode. When all these waves are all nested in each other, you have an implosion in your heart. That brings you into zero. That brings you into being one with everything. That harmonic accord all the way up and all the way down is what we're looking for. And when the body feels that, the body relaxes, because there's no EMF, electrical magnetic energy, stress, all that stuff. The body can settle down, and it goes, it just opens up. And then at 0 point, it remembers who it is. And then it starts rebuilding itself according to the blueprint, which is one of the energies of the Divine Mother, is according to the original Divine Blueprint. The body then starts to self-heal, because it's in a protected sphere, like a Faraday cage that protects it from all the outside influences. And this energy is strong enough that it overcomes your own inner trauma that you have, because all of a sudden you have more energy because you're protected from the outside energy for you to do the inner healing. So hopefully that made some sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're clearing out what you don't want and allowing more energy to flow in, spirit to flow in, so then your consciousness comes up. And it's sort of like climbing Jacob's ladder. The more you do this, and then it puts your vibrational frequency in water, 8 ounces of water, and then 1 ounce makes 1 American gallon, and you drink 5 or 6 glasses of water, structured water a day with alkaline. And it puts your intention of what you wanted to work on into your system, hydrates your cells, flushes out the toxins, and helps you climb the ladder of consciousness.
So the vibrational music that you sent to Tony and I listen to it every day for, especially in the beginning of the pandemic, right? Yeah. And now I just thought about it, and I'm like, boy, I haven't listened to it, nor have I needed to. Is right. That kind of what happens then?
Yeah, absolutely. Because what you're doing is you're entraining that music, just like the deep clearing. You're entraining or encoding your system to run these frequencies. And so if you've been dwelling in that frequency that's higher than what you were, you're going to raise your frequency up to the dominant frequency, right? So then you'll feel that there's no change or transformation, because you and it are at the same level. So that would mean it's time to do another session, right? Which will be here. You're here, and then you start to entrain to this.
What did you just say we needed to do?
Entrain.
No, do another session, you said?
What?
You said do another session, you said, with
Laura?
Laura?
You have to do another session. Huh?
Did you hear that, Sarah?
Yeah. So, we can do this at a distance of $250 US to do a session. You don't get to go be in the Dodecahedron unless you fly out here.
Oh.
But I can do it online. I can show you what's happening in your energy field, where your energy's stuck, and I produce a sound file that I ship to you, which reminds me, I got to get Michelle her water. Here it is, right here.
Oh yeah, our client that we share. Yeah. Yep. So, couldn't you put somebody in the dodecahedron energetically for a session?
Sure. Yeah, there's no reason we couldn't do that. It
Yeah.
depends on how they can, how their imagination is as well. I mean, if I showed them a picture of the dodecahedron and they could imagine themselves lying in there, right? That would help, right? Because literally, the human brain has no way to distinguish between an imagination and reality. Well, because our reality is imagination anyway. I mean, never thought of it that way, but we're
Right.
projecting onto the screen what it is that we want to show up. So the brain is used to doing that.
On everything that we think we create, right?
Yeah, exactly. So there's no reason then you couldn't literally astral travel, if you want to call it that way, or imagine yourself in the dodecahedron. It would be.
Do you have a picture of your dodecahedron?
Dodecahedron? Yeah, there's a picture of the dodecahedron. I don't know if I can find it real quickly. but it is it's in the www.sacred-soulsounds.ca. There's a picture of it there, and I'll type that in. Okay, so www.sacred, I can spell right. And I think we should probably look and see if there's anybody out there in asking.
I've been watching. No one's
Okay, you've
asking
watching.
questions.
All right. So
But people
there's-
can call in to 1-866-369-7464. Oh,
Yeah.
here we have a panelist just now. See, we open up for questions. Oh, there, that was you. Well, you know. Thank you, Ty.
All right, so let's see if that works.
Can you share it?
Yeah, it should be shared right now.
Yeah. Oh. No. Can you share it on your screen? Screen share.
Oh,
Dodecahedron.
I'd have to go. Yeah, let me just do that. So you keep talking and I'll go find it.
Okay. But you, everyone out there in Facebook land and YouTube land, you can call in 866-369-7464 anytime and ask us questions about your health, your wellness, if there's something going on in your house, your garden, obviously, and or if what we're talking about today you have questions about, please feel free to call in. Again, 866-369-7464. It's right above Mr. Tyson's head. And ask us a question. Here we go.
All right, so we're going to share the screen. This is the website for the Sacred Soul Sounds, and setting your soul sound free. So when you come on here, you're going to get a free report if you fill this out, and it has to do with the interconnection of the waters of life, which we were talking about, and sound healing. And the beauty of this whole program is that you are your own guide. We're using your voice to set your soul song free. And so let's see if we can find the Dodecahedron, your interviews here. Okay, there's yours truly with no glasses on. You can't see a thing. No. See if we can find. So here's it might be the pictures of the. Okay, so here's the pictures of my front yard. Whoops. This is what the garden looks like.
I think
And the lake view.
The free report might be in the way.
Yeah, let me just see what happened here. Oops. Okay, we'll do wellness retreats. All right, so there's the garden. I don't know if we can open it up any bigger.
There it is.
There it is. So
Oh.
there's the garden. Right in the front here is where the medicine wheel is. And these are the fruit trees over here. This is Shuswap Lake, and this is our neighbor's fence. So it gives you that's our little fire pit down there. Then it drops off to the lake, and our property is really at this line here. And then there's cabins all the way down along the foreshore, which we don't see, right?
That's
The
beautiful.
front yard. So come and visit. So let me just see if we can quantum sound therapy. And we can do it as a group too. So you can do it. You can do the session with your family. So this is some of the technology. There's so much information in there that that you can follow through if you what is all this and how does it work. And let me see if I can find the dodecahedron picture. Hopefully I'm not making you dizzy. Gone sessions, group sessions, water crystals, sound healing, meditations, online, blah, blah. Okay, let me just see. Wellness retreats, products, services. Okay, online, free 15 soul sound sessions. Online healing, booking. Let's try this. If this one works. Okay, so this is how to do a sound session and what's involved. Okay, I don't know where the dodecahedron is hiding. It must want to come out and play.
Where are you? Where are you? Show yourself.
Yeah, resources, videos, products, services, online Group session follow-up something. Okay, let's try this. There it is. There.
Oh, wow. Yeah, sure. I've been in one of those.
So that's the dodecahedron sound chamber downstairs. It has a copper board underneath that transmits through, and this is all cotton, pure cotton. So we
Copper?
encourage you to be on cotton and wear cotton because the
Oh, I see. It's cotton on the bed, but
Yeah.
it's copper.
Underneath it is a copper board that it's on, which if you
Okay.
put crystals here, if you dowse and put crystals on the board, and you can't really see the edge of the board very well, you can lay crystals, and the crystals will automatically, well, because copper is such a conducer, it will go into your energy field very quickly. Okay, and then this is, these are orgonite hubs. They have a crystal inside, and there's a spinning antenna, or there's a circle
Spiral.
antenna, and this is orgonite. So these are broadcasting in the intention of ascension and clearing, and which are making up the hub. And then you can see there's double terminated crystals that are on each one of these struts. So now it's a crystalline structure. This is a crystal ball. So it allows this energy to flow through the whole thing. This is the heat regulator for the amethyst bed. So this has infrared light and amethyst and tourmaline. So this will really relaxes your body so that the sound can penetrate. You can't see the generators down here, but the sound generators are down underneath here. And then these are all the multi speakers, right? So you're running your sound system through one, and say the chakra clearing or whatever through the other one, and the two come together because the harmonics of the dodeca allows you to play rock and roll on one level and bagpipes on the other, which I don't know why anybody would do that, but the two would harmonize.
Well,
you never know.
You never know.
And so there you are. That's what it looks like, and there's a nice, beautiful dolphin blanket with chakras that goes on there as well when you're having your session. So that's so we have one
Do people
bedroom.
come out of there like so zoned out they can't even speak?
Well, I teasingly say, your trip out is for free, but to get you back is really expensive. Yeah, we tie a rope to your ankle to reel you in. No, I think it's very different for different people, right?
Yeah.
Some people just fall asleep. Some people have out-of-body experiences. Some people feel the energy moving up and down their chakras. It all depends on. And basically it all depends on what your intention is. So because when we do this session, I will ask if you could wave a magic wand and anything and everything were possible, what do you want? And then I do a meditation, a short meditation to get everything out of your way for that moment that we record your voice, so I can get the highest frequency of your potential and you're here, so that when you listen to it, it will, like Laura said, bring you up to that new vibrational level. And then when you're done, you're not feeling any more movement, or you're out of water. There's about enough water for a month. It's really time to do another session.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the dodecahedron and sound chamber. It's $250 to do a session. It takes about an hour and a half, and then I have to, encode the water with your vibration, send you all the documentation, and you get, of course, it's all recorded and shared. So, yeah. So there you are.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I think showing people like what this is, like you've talked about the dodecahedron.
Dodecahedron.
That's what I said.
Or you can say dodeca.
Dodeca.
Just keep it simple.
Dodeca.
Dodeca. Hey, dodeca.
Dodecahedron. But you've talked about it so much in the past. It's really nice to be able to see it and visualize it and see like what you get. So how long would somebody lay in there? Like, could I sleep in there?
Well, it's interesting because Darlene said, boy, I was in there for a long time. I said, well, probably what happened is you left your sound file on repeat. So you can do that, whereas it would end the session and start it all over again. So I like to put the other music. I love the Thunderbolt or whatever it's called, Thundercloud. I should figure out what it is, but it's hemisync for chakras because it's an hour long. And so you have an hour session is usually what I like, because I love to feel it clearing out my chakras, right? Just relaxing into it.
And,
So it's
and
about
how
an hour
often do you
session.
do it?
Hmm?
How often do you do that?
How can I do what?
No, how often?
Oh,
You-
I haven't done it for a long, long time. That's why they're saying it's my turn. I need to go do it, right?
Yeah, that's kind of like I go and do the floating, where
Yeah,
you're in the pod.
yeah.
Yeah, and I can do that about once a month, once every 2 months or so, and I can tell when I need it. Like,
Well, here's what I suggest. If that place you go to do your float,
they do the music.
they allow you to run your own music, then
Mhm.
go take your Dodecahedron sound file and
Ooh,
run it there.
yeah.
Because it will put you in that animated space of the zone, and
Mhm.
it will be just like the dodecahedron. You won't have the configuration, the structure, or the geometry, but you'll have the floating sensation of being,
Right.
supported by the divine, right? So
And then
I think that's a great idea.
sacred geometry, I think, too, is really very interesting. I did it in my medicine wheel with TJ DeCella here in Madison, and he taught sacred geometry, and I never realized how intense sacred geometry is, like the flower of life and
Yeah, that's the building blocks of the universe. It really is. I mean,
Mhm.
is sacred geometry all the way up and all the way down? I mean, for most people can understand that by Leonardo da Vinci's picture of the human, that's like this in the circle. He's
Mhm.
showing you sacred geometry, that the golden ratio between the length of your finger is the golden ratio to the length of your, one joint is to your finger, and your finger is to your hand, and your hand is to your arm, all the way up. So we are living sacred geometry. I mean, anything in life can't survive without being aligned with sacred geometry, which brings us back to COVID-19. And when you start messing with things by doing GMO or doing
Yes.
bioweapons, you are altering DNA. And when you alter DNA and it's not according to the original blueprint, it can run amok because it's not divinely created. You are playing God and thinking as a human what you're doing, and you have no idea what you're doing.
But if they had done it with sacred geometry, it would be in sync with the universe.
Absolutely. But none of our social structures, our society, our medical system, nothing in our civilization now is in harmonics with the natural evolutionary process. So it's all doomed to die. I'm sorry to say, but it's just fundamentally the laws of the universe. If you're not encoded with that step down from the universe all the way down to here, if you didn't make your social structure in harmony with the law of one and the dynamic geometry of the universe, it's not going to last. It's going to take so much energy to keep propping up. They call it a wicked system because you've got to go over here and prop it up, and then this doesn't work, you got to go over here, and you're throwing money at trying to make something that shouldn't be in existence work, and it won't work. Whereas if you design it in harmony with nature, it self-regulates.
So this is where I think Eastern thoughts and Western, like in how do you say that, ingenuity? I'm not saying it right. Come together. Like if we could, like I always say, like if we could bring all of the religions together and see what our commonalities are, we would all get along.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, the East, we go, I was working in the East and I was my age, I was on a spiritual path, I would have left my family now and I would have soot on my face, or I would be calling Shiva, or what I would be doing my inner work, right? So that's saying I need to divorce myself from human activities in order to pursue my spiritual beliefs, which is the old concept that I need to go into the mountains to meditate because I can't handle the world that I live in. But according to the Tao and according to how we are now, this is full body enlightenment. You're not supposed to be walking out of your family. You're not supposed to be giving it up. You're supposed to be embodying all of that right here so that you're living 24/7, 365 from that spiritual point of view of one with everything. So you're spiritualizing everything. That's what it means to be the Christ being. Christ, yes, he went and did 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness, but he was of the world. He was in the world, right? He did it as a living example, not of retreating from the world to do it, but living in the world and doing it. And that's what we're supposed to be doing now. And that's what the planet is saying. You guys all go to the bedroom because you're all badly behaved and now you figure it out. And when you're good boys and girls, we're going to let you come out and play. But you better play in harmony with the natural law or you're going to be sent back to your bedroom. So COVID-19 is just another way of Divine Mother saying, you want to mess with me and mess with my genetics? Then there's
and my divineness. Like she's got, everything is so intricate and woven together like the spider's web. It's so beautiful. Like how can you not look at that and say that God got it right?
God got it wrong, you mean?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for, yeah, exactly. And let me reweave the web for you. Well, now we're facing all of the repercussions of trying to weave it ourselves. It's not working. It's not working. And everyone needs to wake up to the truth that until we become sync with nature and with our science, which is beautiful, by the way.
Oh yeah, I mean science.
And I challenge them. That's the biggest thing. Let's challenge them because men like a good challenge.
Well, the thing is, the irony of what's going on now is they're
it.
saying, well, Facebook and Google and the establishment is saying we're going to shut down anybody that's opposing COVID-19 and the status quo because science says it has to be this way. Well, again, science is the point of view. And when you start shutting down the alternative, then you're in a fascist state. You're saying, no, you can't have an alternative opinion. There's only one opinion, and my opinion is right, and that's coming from the state, right? Hello, this is Tyhson, and you're on the Wellness Show.
Hi, yeah, this is Linda Aronson calling again. I just had kind of an interesting thing happen when I was working on calling in my healing team for my daughter. So I'm calling in, Ascended Masters and Yeshua and all the people I usually work with and so on and so forth. And then I said, okay, I call in the spirit guides for my daughter and so on and so forth. And then I call in her higher self. Nothing. Like nothing. And I'm going, what? And so then I said, well, what's going on here? And I got to turn this off so I can hear myself talking like in reverse here.
That's scary, isn't it?
Turn that off. Okay. So it didn't, there was nothing. There was no verification because each ascended master or light being or something I'm calling in, I'm getting a verification because it's spinning clockwise. So for my daughter, I got nothing. And I'm going, oh my God. So then I said, okay, what happened? What's going on here? She's not connected to her higher self. So then I dowsed. And when she was a little girl, like 2 or 3, I knew she was clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairaudio. And she shut it down when she was 7 years old because she wanted to be like other people and because she, I think, got scared sometimes. So what I did was I dowsed to please clear or transmute or whatever her opening herself to her higher self, and it seemed to work. So I wondered if either of you encounter that sometimes when a person's higher self, they're really, they're always connected, but there's no communication, there's no happening.
Yeah,
Wow.
thank you for that. So Laura, go for it.
I actually had similar situation happen to me, and I actually called Tyhson immediately because it kind of freaked me out. I kind of got like a cover, remember? I was just like, I hit something.
Can you hear Laura on the phone?
Barely.
Okay.
I'm straining to hear her.
All right,
Yeah.
speak up there, Laura.
Okay. So I don't know how much closer I can get.
That's all right. No, I'll turn you up, so to speak.
So there was like a cover where I couldn't get up to where I usually go, to God's highest plane. It was kind of like I was blocked. And I yelled and said, no, you don't get to block me. You get out of my way and make a hole for me. I want up. And it did, because we have free will in it. And the universal law says that whatever we say must happen, right? In short. Right. And so up I went. And then I had it happen with my friend Yvonne had the same thing happen, and so did Tony. And I'm not sure if I think what is happening is that something's like messing with our free will. Like if I can block you, I will, but we got to be smarter and know that we're the boss. And that's what Tyhson has reiterated with me over and over and over, is that you're the boss. I understand that she shut it down, but you've been working on her for a long time. So that shouldn't have been an issue. In my mind, when you were talking about it, I got that black blanket vision, the same one that I got, like probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. Time's such an illusion, but it's gone now, and it hasn't returned. And it hasn't returned with Yvonne or Tony either.
Yeah, this is your.
So you envisioned with my daughter that she's got this blanket over her? Is that what you're saying?
No, can you explain it, Tyhson?
Let me just jump in and say the most important thing is, there's a blanket, or you call it the matrix, or you can call it a conscious field of dumbing down people like your daughter. Okay, it's called the matrix, for lack of a better word.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But as a sovereign human being, when you declare that I'm a sovereign human being, and in my I am presence, I hereby declare, then you are putting a calling card into the universe that trumps anybody trying to mess with you whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And that's your direct connection to your guides and to source consciousness to get their butt down here and help you out. And they will. But you have to call. You have to make the call. You have to stand in your truth.
Well, I do.
I know. That's the point I'm trying to make. But the point I'm trying to make for everybody on this call is, if you're stuck, that's what you do. You've got to have the courage to be a sovereign human being and call it down, because otherwise it won't clear. That's the point. So I'm sorry to interrupt you. I know you already understand it, but I'm trying to repoint. Whoa, sorry, bird. I hope you're okay. A bird smashed into the window. No, we'll just send it some energy, shokaray, send it some healing energy. So that was pretty dramatic. So yeah, and we don't want to do what we're doing that messes up Mother Nature, so she gets a little bit off sync too. But anyway, back to that. So I just want to make that point. So back to what you're saying, I know that you're doing that, and the more you keep doing that, so I get there's some trauma there. So what happened in her childhood? Did somebody do? I want to be really blunt. Was there any intrusion in her energy field? Was there any sexual abuse from any one of the relatives?
Not that I know of.
Have you ever had any?
Many people have said that she behaves as.
Yeah, she does behave. She behaves as if she's been traumatized in the worst way imaginable. In the worst way imaginable. And so then because again, you can trump that, is I would go in and I would clear all that.
Yeah.
I would go in and clear all the trauma from any and all sources that did not abide by the law. And I would, as her mother, I would call that down. I would, if you need to use the burning flame letters, then use the burning flame letters, if you understand. you can roar like a lion. That's your divine right to do that. You just go for
Yes.
it. I don't just clean it up. And I'm getting shivers when I say this, because when you do it for your kid, you're clearing all that Disney World bullshit, rape of children, pedophilia, and crap on this planet. Okay, so I said it. So if you have that enough courage and you love your daughter enough, go for it, because you're going to help every single other kid on that vibration that is psychic, that's been shut down. And I can tell you, I've worked with the most horrific cases of that intrusion into their physical body through rape to mind control them. And I do not have any, look, I can really get angry about this. I'm not going to get angry about it because I know that that's not going to help. But, I just go kick some butt is what I'm saying, emotionally, psychically, and spiritually.
So just for clarification, so are you sensing that in fact is what's happened to her?
Yes,
Or,
yes.
oh my God, because I have
But you don't need to, and it doesn't matter. I mean, don't go down that rabbit hole, right? And try and figure it out. Don't even go there.
No, I won't.
Okay, good.
What I'm picking up, it wasn't in this incarnation.
It could be. It could be. Look.
She came in with that trauma, and maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, well, they track families. Look, part of the whole thing is they track families, and they do it from generation to generation. Why? Because they know that if your daughter comes into her own, she's going to bring about planetary change and transformation. She's going to find other like human beings, and their lockdown on this planet will be unstoppable, right? Like they won't succeed. That's the whole point. So, I mean,
so I need to do two things. I need to dissolve this blanket, and then I also need to specifically focus on the trauma.
Well, don't dissolve the blanket. Just break through it. Just break through it.
Just break through it like a fishing.
Don't try to dissolve it because it will fight back.
Yeah.
Okay, so just break through it. So I can actually do that for my daughter.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You incarnated with her. It's your family. It's your
It's her. It's not her daughter. It's her.
It's me?
Yeah, it's you. You're the one that's connecting. You're connecting for your daughter, but it's you connecting.
Well, it's for you. It's for the divine feminine. It's for all of humanity. It's for, it's for all of the abuse of all women on this planet, and it's the abuse of psychically gifted children of being shut down. So there's multiple levels to the work that you're doing. I mean, you put up your hand and said, "Hey, I'm going to incarnate and I'm going to clean up these levels. So welcome to planet Earth." And you now have your job description, and now you go kick some butt.
Yeah, I sure do. Well, okay. Well, now I've got some more work to do, but I have done a lot of healing work for her, and she is feeling better today. So
yeah, and don't forget, well, I've said this many times on the show, when you do this, you're doing it when you go clear, on the path of clear, you're working on 164,500 other souls in your lineage, right? So it's just not you and your daughter. It's your whole lineage into the past and into the future. And of course, there is no past and there is no future. There's just now. But know that you're being a warrior of the light, and try and have some humor about this when you're kicking butt. Don't get into the negative or into just that you have a divine right to change the path of what's happening, and that you're going to exercise that. And you don't have to fight about. I mean, when I say kick butt, I'm talking about the energetics of it, not the warrior part of it. If that makes sense to you.
No.
Okay?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Well, that's very helpful. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're most welcome. Do it for all the kids on the planet.
I was really shocked when I did her higher self, and it was like nothing. And
right.
I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, we're offline.
I was too.
That
Yeah.
explains a lot. So,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you again so much.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye.
I'm so glad that people feel safe to call in and share these things with us.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary as it is. I mean, I'm flying my flag out there. I know you are. I mean, we're just we're out here.
A freak flag.
And we're talking about things that, most people don't talk about. But hell, heck, heaven, or whatever we want to say. I mean, this is a time that we all have to be courageous. We all have to speak our truth. We all have to step in it, and whatever the consequences are, if we don't stand up now and be counted, we're going to lose the whole ship. That's how I feel about it. So,
and we were talking last night. It's already nothing is the same. Everything has changed.
There's no going back. So let's look at what we want to go forward with.
Yeah, let's create our best and highest self.
So we're nearly at the top of the hour, and I'm going to interrupt you just because I want to put this in. Look, I know there's groups coming together to help change the planetary timelines and control. Why don't you join us on Friday for part 3, which is basic dowsing, which is how to clear your own bioenergy field, how to take back your personal power, stand in your truth. And then when we finish that, we're going to turn around and do that for the planet. So if you resonate to what we were talking about on today's call, you want to join us and learn how to do this for you, your family, and for the planet, then you need to be joining us on Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific for a 2-hour session. And if you, so that linkage will be in the show notes, so you can click that link and register, and then you'll get the Zoom link to join us, okay? Right.
Awesome.
Right.
Yes.
And also, if you really want to meet a group of like-minded people that really are feeling the field and the heart chakra of Mother Earth, and are there as what's called planetary doulas to help birth the new Earth, then join myself and Shelley Darling every Tuesday evening. We just did a show, the second show. It's just, I cannot tell you how a beautiful space it is with all these really gifted high energy people showing up and just sharing space together. And there's lots of just like breathing and being in silent and feeling the energy of the field and the connection to source consciousness, and then breathing in it, and then feeling it, and then talking from our heart. So I really
can you share it with me? Because I tried to find it last night and I couldn't find it.
It's in the show notes that I sent you. You click the note and register and go to the whole, and that will give you the links to join us.
Okay. And how many different ways can we join you?
Well, there's a show from 5, I think from 8 o'clock in the morning.
No, I apologize. I meant like on Zoom, on Facebook, like how are we sharing this with you, with the people?
Where?
Like
this show?
Like, yeah, the show that you're talking about. Is it on Zoom? Is it on?
Yeah, it's on Zoom.
Live?
It's a Zoom call, and with a password that you come and join us. And then it's downloaded, and you can find it on my Academy YouTube channel.
Okay.
And it will go out as a podcast as well. So it'll be in the Wellness Show podcast if you want to listen to that. So there's 3 ways. Join us live or catch it after the fact, which will be
live on Zoom.
Live on Zoom.
Yep. Or after the fact on YouTube.
In Academy YouTube channel, yeah.
Or in a podcast.
The Wellness Show podcast.
Okay, great. Right. Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
All right. So thank you, everybody. We're back tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Come and join us. And you too can phone in. You too can be courageous. You too can step into the truth of who you are. You too can free yourself and let your soul song sing. And just be radically brave. This is the time. Be in your heart. Be the warrior that you're meant to be. Fly your flag. Strut your stuff. Do it with love in your heart and kick some butt. So until tomorrow, have a good one. Bye for now.
Bye.
For quality online wellness products, courses, and services, visit our sponsors, thewellnessstore.ca and the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy located at thewellnessacademy.ca. To stay in touch, visit us at thewellnessshow.ca. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.